American girls.
We will meet the challenge of our time.
American guys.
We will answer history's call with confidence, because we know that freedom is the destiny of every man, woman, and child on this earth.
So we can sleep in peace and die when we lay down our heads.
In a world where we have to work so damn hard. So damn hard, 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 so damn hard. I just go about my daily life with a war going on and just tread water. Keep treading. Keep treading. Is it because this is a war that does not touch our soil? Because I don't know anyone serving in Iraq? Because I don't think anti-war action will make any difference. I want to debate, dialogue, but I'm worn out. I get too emotional. I want to be articulate. Articulate, articulate, articulate. A-R-T-I-C-U-L-A-T-E, articulate. Most days I go about a more or less normal day. I feel guilty, angry, furious, powerless. In my ideal teenage fantasy, if something like the Vietnam War ever happened again, the country would rise up, raise their voices and shout, "No!" louder than before and stop the madness. But we didn't. Did we? Why is it we only talk about the war with the people who already agree with us? If a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, if 300,000 people march on Washington and no one reports it, did it make any sound?
In the early days, we moved freely.
Paula Pulowski, U.S. Army. You're watching the TV. You're looking at these embedded reporters, and you know, they dramatize everything. No matter what you're seeing on there, it's all dramatized. You're not seeing the big picture. You're not seeing start to finish. You're not seeing everything that's going on at that very moment. Rochelle Shannon House Stewart, Loadmaster, U.S. Air Force, 2:15 p.m. I have the opportunity to haul some of the Iraqi soldiers out for their training. Some of the Iraqi army that we've trained. It's very precious cargo. It means a lot to get them in safely and get them out safely. And there's this one guy who speaks very, very little English, but it's funny, he can say thank you. They know what thank you means, and he says thank you a lot. And so this one guy tells me he's from, where are you from? I draw out a sketch, a rough picture of Iraq, and I ask him where he's from, and he writes it. Writes the name of it in English. Azela, Baghdad, 2:15 p.m. We're going to visit my aunt at the other side of the city. The moment I set foot outside the door, the heat almost forces me back inside. Our son at 2 p.m. isn't a heavenly body. It's a physical assault. We hear the usual instructions before we leave. Stop at the checkpoints, return before dark, and if anyone wants the keys, you give them the car. Don't argue, don't fight it. I say a little prayer to keep us safe as I rummage in my bag, checking for my weapon. I can't stand to carry around a pistol, so I carry around a big, red switchblade knife. You don't want to mess with Azela. Beatrice Saldivar, Camp Casey, Crawford, Texas, 2004. We have to stand up with one voice and say no to war without evidence. And that's why we took him a letter, the mothers. We took him a letter that they refused to accept because they said there was nobody there that could accept it. We laid the letter down with flowers in front of the Crawford Ranch and we asked them to take it to Bush. And they refused to pick it up. We said, no, it is your obligation, Mr. Bush, to pick up this letter. Because our soldiers, when they go to Iraq for the man next to them. Like my nephew said. He said he had to go back because of the man next to him. The man next to him is like his brother. Now that letter from the mothers was laying there in the hot, hot sun with flowers. And they were not able to pick up this letter. But the fellow soldier, the man next to you, when my nephew died in Iraq, his fellow soldiers were able to pick up his body after the improvised explosive device, the IED, that took his life. What is the noble cause my nephew died for? We don't want to see our boys come home anymore like my nephew did. February the 11th, DFW Airport, US Airways flight. Coming down the cargo plane in a beautiful white government-sealed box. We don't want to see that anymore. Because we do agree with the opposition that freedom is priceless. But there is a right way and a wrong way to go to war. September the 11th and Iraq didn't have any connection whatsoever. Last weekend the opposition protesters came, full air-conditioned bus, fully loaded with your typical American grandpa-grandma couple with their little flags. We invited them to come and see the crosses. First 3 of them came, and then 6, and then 8, and they started putting their little flags. After they started seeing name by name, picture by picture, then their conscience got a little bit elevated that they're not numbers. Like my nephew said, they're not numbers, they're people. You see, our soldiers were in Iraq for the man next to them. And we are here so that your soldier that is serving in Iraq, or your young children, the 16, 17-year-old men, they don't have to be there.
Before our mission in Iraq is accomplished, there will be tough days ahead. The time of war is a time of sacrifice. And we lost some very fine men and women in this war on terror. Many of you know comrades and classmates who left our shores to defend freedom and who did not live to make the journey home. We pray for the military families who mourn the loss of loved ones. We hold them in our hearts. And we honor the memory of every fallen soldier, sailor, airman, Coast Guardman, and Marine.
Rochelle Shannon House, U.S. Air Force Loadmaster, 2004. I knew from the minute I could say airplane that I wanted to fly airplanes. And the minute I started flying for the Air Force, I knew this is what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Now, my main mission was to haul people and supplies in and out of Iraq. And I did have the opportunity to haul some of the Iraqi soldiers out for their training, which is funny because you get 2 different reactions to being a woman in the military. One is to look right past me. Just ignore the fact that I even exist. The ones that are so die-hard in their beliefs, which is nothing wrong with that. That's their beliefs. Just, I have no place in this, the military. Much less talking to them, directing them. But then the others are kind of looking like, I'd say, but it sounds kind of silly. It's kind of like looking at a movie star. They're like, holy cow, a blonde-haired woman in uniform with a gun in her hand. This is something they've never seen before. Now, the Iraqi civilians I had the opportunity to meet were amazingly thankful. I mean, they were telling me this is the first time in their lives they could get up in the morning and step outside and not have to worry about, being killed. Of course, my mission changed on pretty much a daily basis depending on what I hauled. flew a young man's body out of Iraq in the back of my airplane. And as the loadmaster, it's my duty to stay back there and watch over. Strap the coffin down correctly. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance that goes with hauling a body. It's incredibly emotional. And it's just a very surrealistic moment, just sitting back there, and the door's behind armor. Just sitting there staring at a flag-draped coffin. It was pretty I've never been so upset. And yet so proud in all my life. I always wanted to be in the Olympics, you know, and stand on the podium and see my flag and hear my national anthem. I wanted to be a part of that. In that moment, sitting there with that coffin, I felt more proud of that than I could have if I'd been in the Olympics, I think. Kurdistan, Iraq, 2004. My mother was a Kurdish soldier. My mother. This woman I hardly know. This woman I really didn't know at all until a few years ago. Tries to tell me what it was like fighting Saddam. Tries to tell me I should be happy he is gone. But neither one of us is happy with what we have now. She tells me of hiding in the mountains, fighting off soldiers and snakes, reading Marx, dreaming of a better future, planning the uprising, huddling for warmth with my father in caves, hoping I was safe and warm in grandmother's arms. I had my own daughter. And I couldn't imagine willingly leaving her for anything. And I also couldn't imagine knowingly bringing her into harm's way. I followed my own dreams as best I could with her by my side. First on my hip, then to my knee, then to my waist. Now a grown woman. But my dreams are simple, not like my mother's. I do not believe in utopian socialist society. I believe that we get by as best we can, and that humanity is only capable of so much growth at a time. And I am not willing to sacrifice my life in order to move 1 millimeter closer to an ideal that we are unlikely to reach before we all destroy each other completely. My dreams were simple, not like my mother's. I opened a clothes and fabric store with my husband, earned enough to send our daughter to university when she was grown, had a house with a garden and 2 bathrooms. Now my dreams are simple. My husband was killed in the 2nd year of this 2nd war with the United States. Now I dream of surviving another day to be with my daughter. I dream of water and light. I dream of seeing my daughter grown unmaimed and unscarred by this war. And my mother, this woman I hardly know, this woman I really didn't know at all until a few years ago, tells me these are the reasons she still dreams of a revolution. I tell her it's not that simple.
And the river opens for the righteous, and the river opens for the righteous, and the river opens